What is up, beast mode moms and dads? It's Christian father, husband, coach, and autism advocate, your host, Trey Turner. Welcome to the Superhero Parent Pod, a voice for the voiceless and a lending ear for all those who feel like they're struggling alone. This is the safe place where each week we go behind the scenes and enter into a world that most people have no clue even exists. So welcome, sit back, and enjoy the untold stories now told of strengths, struggles, blessings, and one never-ending journey of parenting a child with special needs. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Superhero Parent Pod. This one is going to be off the cuff, no schedule planned as far as having an interview. This is something that just wanted to speak about in regards to what happened last night, which would be Tuesday night. Tuesday nights are gymnastics for both my kids, but I guess you can say the true blessing of it comes in getting to see Isaiah and his progress over the last year. I guess we're at almost a year anniversary of when both my kids started gymnastics, and my daughter does dance and gymnastics, and she's an all-star. She's much more graceful and much more coordinated than I'll ever be. But seeing Isaiah's progress from where he started this time last year till now, I wish somebody had been videotaping the entire thing and could have made a reality TV show out of it, honestly. But when we started, and I wrote a post about this, I don't know, a month or so ago, when we started gymnastics, Isaiah was literally unable to complete an hour of what we would call structured gymnastics. To him, the gymnastics, area just looked like a giant play place. There's blocks, there's trampolines, there's things to climb on, and he didn't understand, that there was structure, that there was specific things that he needed to do, specific times when he was supposed to do the cartwheels or walk on the balance beam. It was just an all-out, just complete, him literally running back and forth, uncontrollable, highly, highly overstimulated to where, the instructors could not control him. He bit, he hit, he threw the instructor's glasses. He became, at times, a few times, very violent to where we had to escort him off the gymnasium floor, and I had to take him home. It was heartbreaking. I cried. He cried. He didn't understand why he couldn't play and do what he wanted to do. These were giant foam blocks and giant trampolines. Why can't I just go and just be myself? But autistic children and most special needs children, and I just say any child, needs structure and they need guidance. Now, there's definitely much more layers to that when it comes to giving structure to a special needs child. So 3 months in to our gymnastics experience with Isaiah last year, and upon his last and final meltdown, we had decided we were no longer going to bring him back. And we told Miss Polly, she's the owner, and she was the one that was working with Isaiah one-on-one. God bless her. She has taken time out of her day to work with him directly, and we'll pivot back to that. But now it's probably her favorite time of the week, getting to work with Isaiah. But he was, hitting her, biting her, squeezing her. The other little girl that tried helping him, he was throwing her glasses and trying to break them. And it was just not safe for him or them. Not that he would ever hurt them that bad, but it was not enjoyable for anyone. They were very patient and continued to tell us, it's no big deal. We're fine. We'll keep working with him. But they could not keep him organized, could not keep him on track, could not keep him focused. And so, like I said, 3 months into it, on his last and final meltdown, we politely told Miss Polly that, hey, thank you for all your time, your patience, your understanding, but, this is going to be our last time. We don't want you to have to continue to go through this. And, Isaiah was crying. I was kind of crying. There's, I would say, 50 or 60 parents there watching their kids as well. And I wasn't embarrassed at all, but it was a moment in time where you really have to pick. You don't know what to do. You're looking, do I just leave? Do I stay and maybe give him the phone and try to get him calmed down so that my daughter, Laurie Grace, could finish her gymnastics? We always drive separate in case Isaiah is ready to go home early. I'll take him home. And so at that point in time, what I did, I just kind of bowed my head and I said a little prayer. And, just very simple, God, if you want Isaiah to keep doing gymnastics, give me a sign. Like, I'm searching for something here. We're trying to get him out of the house to where, during the fall and winter months, he has something physical to do to where he'll be able to use his energy in a productive way. We're trying here, God, we're trying. Give me a sign. And, I happened after I said that little prayer and Isaiah was there with us, he was still crying and upset. After I said that little prayer, I just happened to kind of look up and I caught Isaiah talking about a red ball. And he had mentioned this red ball off and on while he was with the instructors out there, and they didn't really understand or know what he was talking about. The red ball to him is from a Daniel Tiger episode to where they throw the ball back and forth and play catch, and they'll say like an animal sounds name. They'll throw the ball to an individual and they'll say cow, and then they'll say moo, and then they throw it to the next person, and the person that threw it says pig, and the person that catches it says oink oink. And then they throw it to a person and, they say horse, and the person that catches it has to say neigh. It's just a silly little Daniel Tiger episode, but it involves a red ball. So Isaiah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it had to do something in regards to a red ball. And I was like, what is he talking about here? And it happened right after I got done saying that prayer that he mentioned it again. And something told me to look over in the corner of this, giant gymnasium, it's basically just a huge garage filled with gymnastic equipment. And I looked over and I seen this little plastic tub, this bin of just your little, $1 balls that you get at Walmart or the dollar store, the ones that are in those giant bins that are in the kiosks at the end of the aisles, and they're just very simple, just a plastic ball. And I happened to see those, and this red ball was on top of them. And I brought Isaiah over to the side, and I kind of got him calmed down a little bit. And I said, buddy, I said, you want to throw that red ball? And he said, yes. And so I was like, okay. And my wheels started turning, and it's not like I came up with this idea. Literally, God just said, here, this is what you need to do. And so I'm not a gymnast. I never taught gymnastics. I've never been on a gymnastics floor. I think my mom put me in gymnastics when I was in elementary school, and I literally did somersaults across a mat, and I think I walked on the balance beam, but that was 30 years ago. And so there's no other parents out there on the gymnastics floor. It's teachers and instructors. And so I said, buddy, do you want to throw that ball? And he said, yes. And so I walked out for the first time. I walked out as a parent. I walked onto the gymnastics floor as a parent, and then I turned into Isaiah's assistant, Isaiah's teacher, all in that one setting, that one day. And so I went over to the bin, I picked up the red ball, and we started throwing it back and forth. And again, as we started doing that, another idea came to me. Isaiah is based on structure. He's based on numbers. He is based on needing to know when something new is coming up. Transitions are hard for him. Routine changes are hard for him. But if he kind of has an idea of something that he can get ready for, it's not such a sudden shock. And so it's not like, Isaiah, you need to do cartwheels. Isaiah, you need to walk on the balance beam. Isaiah, you need to do handstands. Isaiah, you need to do backwards bridges or whatever. If he knows what's coming up and maybe has a reward system for when he completes each of those tasks, maybe this will provide that structure. And so I said, Isaiah, we're going to throw the ball 5 more times, and then we're going to do what Miss Polly wants to do. And I threw the ball once, I threw the ball twice, threw the ball 3, 4. The 5th time, he caught it, and then he looked at Miss Polly, and her eyes kind of widened up, and she was like, she said, what'd you just do? And I said, I don't know. I said, I think we may be onto something. And so he went and did whatever task he was supposed to do. Again, this is a year ago. I can't remember exactly what it was. But then after he did it a couple of times, I said, are you ready to throw the ball again? And he said, yes. I said, okay, we're going to throw the ball 3 more times, and then we're going to do what Miss Polly wants to do. And so throwing the red ball provided him a reward system. It provided him a way to calibrate out. He loves throwing a ball. It soothes him. It calms him down. And so we threw that red ball in between each actual gymnastics task. And that was kind of the start to mine and Isaiah's gymnastics journey together, along with Miss Polly's. Now, the next week, things didn't go perfect, but we had the red ball, and Isaiah made it maybe 20 minutes before he had enough and was ready to go home. So 20 minutes was better than 15 minutes of straight meltdowns with chaos, complete chaos. And then the next week, things got a little bit better. And from that point up until now, a year later, we have continually gotten better to the point to where now, a year later, Isaiah literally asks for gymnastics every day. Every day when I pick him up from school, he asks for gymnastics. It's his sensory relief. He loves being praised when he does something at gymnastics. The overstimulation of praise when he knows he did something correct. And me and Miss Polly give him five, or he realizes that he did it correctly, combined with some of these positions he's upside down, some of these positions he's rolling, he's doing somersaults, he's twisting and turning, he's pulling, he's grabbing, he's doing pull-ups, he's jumping on trampolines, he's walking on balance beams. All of these things play right into Isaiah's need for sensory input. He seeks sensory things. Most, autistic kids, some of them don't like the textures, don't like the water, the sands, the textures of food. Isaiah, he wants those sensory things being inputted into him. And so we didn't even realize that we was just trying to get him out of the house, help him to, do things that normal kids do, get some energy out. But it has now turned into Isaiah's a legit, like, 7-year-old gymnast. Like, he is out there for a full hour. Yesterday was a full hour. And it all circled back to yesterday. Everything kind of hit home for us. We started out not being able to complete 15 minutes of gymnastics without complete meltdowns, and Isaiah getting a little bit violent with his instructors, to where now we're completing an hour, actually completing all of Isaiah's tasks in under an hour. And sometimes we have to take a break because he is so overstimulated from happiness of doing the movements that we have to stop and let him calibrate out. And he's smiling and laughing and jumping up and down the entire time. And yesterday when I told Miss Polly, I said, Isaiah asks, we was just casually talking in between while we was helping Isaiah. I said, Isaiah asks for gymnastics every day. And she said, what? I said, yeah, every day when we get in the truck, when I pick him up from school, he's asking for gymnastics. And some days he just puts his shoes and his hat on and goes to the front door and says gymnastics. And her eyes swelled up and she cried right there in the middle of class. She put her hands over her chest, and you could just tell that that was her reward, just knowing how much he enjoyed it. And so I just wanted to say, if you're going through a difficult time with a special needs child, whatever the circumstances may be, don't quit. Don't give up. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and it may be just a tiny little flicker of a flame, but there's something there, and it's whether you asked for this or not, it is your role and your responsibility to tap into it. We could have chosen to keep Isaiah at home and not take him to gymnastics a year ago and just let our daughter do it. But look at how much he would have missed out on. Look at what I would have missed out on. I'm a more patient father. I'm a more involved father. I did a cartwheel yesterday. First time I did a cartwheel in my life. And even Miss Polly was like, your dad's got a good cartwheel, Isaiah. I didn't even know I could do one. But I was showing Isaiah how to do a cartwheel. He learns, if I do the movement first, he can follow right in my footsteps and do it very well, better than if we're just trying to teach him and tell him how to do it. But look at what Miss Polly and all the other instructors, and then you've got other children there that are watching Isaiah do this and cheering him on. And I know Isaiah from school, and he's awesome. And so I've gotten to meet his buddies that, interact with him at his school and stuff too. But look at how much we would have missed out on if we would just chosen to keep him protected or confined to a tablet or something at home. It was not easy. It was not at all enjoyable. And there are still times where he gets overstimulated and gets upset and squeezes. But he doesn't hit, he doesn't bite, he doesn't throw glasses anymore. He literally loves gymnastics. It is his favorite thing to do throughout the week. And he enjoys doing the movements. It's not just like him running around in circles out there. He's doing pull-ups. He's doing the springboard jumps, whatever they're called. He's walking on the balance beam and doing, I forgot what she called it, dipping your foot in ketchup on the balance beam, where you take your feet one foot off and dip it down and then bring it back up again. Anyways, he's doing all of this stuff. He did Spider-Man handstands last night for the first time by himself, to where he holds himself up with his arms. Getting him to use his arm muscles was very difficult because he didn't know how to use them. Not that he wasn't strong, but like telling him, Isaiah, you're going to need to hold yourself up with your arms on this movement because we're not going to hold you. You have to push yourself up, like teaching him that. was difficult, but now he knows how to do it. He knows how to push himself up with his arms when we tell him to where I don't even have to show him me doing it first. The growth and just success that I've gotten to watch him go through. You know, when people say as a special needs child a burden, and you hear him say no, it's a blessing. That's not. Some people may say that just to make themselves sound like they don't have it that bad or that they're stronger than they are. But I truly mean it, and you know, I couldn't ever think about what would we do without gymnastics now? What would we be doing? And so continually seek for the betterment of your child, and don't gripe, don't bitch about having to, you know, go out of your way. That's your job as a parent. Whatever hand you've been dealt with, it is your job. And don't, even though it is your job, don't look at it as a job. Don't look at it as a chore. Yes, it's your responsibility, but if you look at it strictly as something you have to do, like as a side project, you're going to miss out on so much. And for me, those first few months, I was guilty of just putting my head down and like, oh, can we just go home? He's never going to get it. He doesn't understand. This is not good for his instructors. I'm embarrassed for them that they have to put up with it. You know, all those thoughts going into my head didn't serve me any good. And it came to the final moment of where we was going to remove him from gymnastics before I decided to just say a little prayer. And I happened to look up and see that bin of balls sitting in the corner. And from there, things started moving in the right direction. So if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you're having a difficult time, regardless of whatever it is, keep going. I know it's cliche and that's a saying that gets used way too often, but keep going. The only other option you have is to stop. And if you stop, I can guarantee you're not going to get to where you want to be at. That is a guarantee. The only guarantee is if you don't do it, you're never going to get where you need to be at. So fight for your kids, even if they don't realize how much fight that you're putting in for them, the appreciation and the blessings that'll come on the other side of getting them through whatever they're going through. It's well worth it. All right. So just wanted to record this as off the cuff, and it was on my mind, and the blessings that we had last night from Isaiah completing his year anniversary and year into gymnastics was incredible. Seeing Miss Polly cry was cool, because I've never, she's not someone that I would think would cry, but letting her know that gymnastics is Isaiah's safe place and something he asks for every single day, it's well worth it. What started out as completely unbearable and completely undoable has now turned into one of Isaiah's greatest accomplishments. And as a result, he's bettered everyone that was involved in it around him. So keep fighting the good fight, and just know that the light may be a little longer before it shows, but it's there. And you just have to be brave enough and strong enough to fight to see it. All right. Everybody have a good day, and keep going. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to the Superhero Parent Pod. I appreciate your support so much. Words cannot describe how much it means to me. Send this show to everyone who could benefit from it, and thank you so much. Again, we are on Apple, Spotify, Audible, Amazon, wherever you find your podcast at, we should be there. And in the show notes, in the show description, the application to be on the show is embedded in that. So if you yourself would like to come on the show and tell your story, if you know someone who would benefit from being on the show or could positively impact others from being on the show, feel free to send that application to them as well. Remember, strength comes through transparency. Okay, we are all in this together. Do not struggle alone. Do not feel like you are isolated. That is the devil. What the devil wants us to do is to isolate us and make us feel weak, and you are not that. So strength comes through transparency, and by being on the show and telling your story, you're not only strengthening yourself, but everyone else around you, people that you may never even come in contact with, could hear your story, and it may just brighten their day. All right, so that application is in the description and in the show notes. Feel free to send it to someone. Feel free to fill it out yourself if you feel like your child's story will benefit others. Someone from our team will reach out to you and let you know if you've been approved to be on the show or not. And again, thank you so much. Stay strong, stay healthy. Everybody keep moving in the right direction, and have a great rest of the day. God bless.